another pick a card reading, pick a pile reading. Today's reading is all about how you can raise your frequency at the present time. We've just started a brand new astrological cycle. We've just come out of a full moon, so it's a perfect time to really kind of like elevate your vibration and focus on things that are going to make you feel good. So I thought that this reading would be good to figure out what we need to do to really bring that about. So group 1, you have the clear quartz geode. Group 2, you have the, I believe this is the flame aura quartz. And group 3 have the celestite egg. So we will be looking at lots of various different things from various different decks on how you can raise your frequency at the present. And then each reading also has an extended available today, which you can view in the description box below. There'll be a link where you can rent it. And in the extended version, we go and we look ahead into what blessings are going to come next. And we look at and we do that in a lot of detail, by the way. We clarify sort of each blessing that comes through. We look at your love life in 3 months and 6 months, your career in 3 months and 6 months, and like your inner world in 3 months and 6 months, and see kind of like where you're at. And each group also gets some guidance or messages related to your soul purpose in this lifetime. Like things that you can reflect on or components that kind of come together to form that purpose. So there's a lot of information in those, and the extendeds go for between 30 to 40 minutes. So they've got a lot of info in them as well. But yeah, these ones have heaps of info too. Don't forget that they're general messages, so it's important to take what resonates with you and leave the rest for someone else. General messages are never going to be able to resonate with every single person every single time to 100% accuracy. We pick up on different energies, messages for different people who need it. We can't really control it, but we just have to flow with it. So just keep that in mind. And of course, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. It would mean a lot. Just something that you can do to support me in return for the videos. I do have a PayPal link in the description box below, which is for like donations or tips. You're very welcome to use it, although it's not necessary. It's appreciated. It helps me keep going. But other than that, guys, I really hope that you enjoy your reading, and I'll see you in your pile. Hi group 1, welcome to your reading, where we're going to find out how you can raise your frequency. So if you picked group 1, you were drawn to, I believe this is a clear quartz geode. I wish I could get the light on it properly so that you could really see it shine. I do end up like forgetting what they're called after a period of time, because I buy them thinking that I'm just superhuman and I'll remember the names forever. And then I misplace the cards and I don't know which card goes with which crystal or which geode, and then it gets confusing. But I think that's a clear quartz geode. And we're going to get into your messages for today. So we are going to flow with like a few different decks today and get through as much helpful information in regards to raising your frequency as we can. And at the end of the reading, I will decide whether I'm going to do an extended or not. I guess it depends how long the reading goes for, how much more there is to get for you, and things like that. But I'm just going to kind of see where it takes us, because I haven't really decided which reading I'm going to make into an extended this week yet. So still kind of just going with the flow. I feel like the Virgo full moon's trying to help me release control a bit and to stop being so rigid and structured in my routines. I'm trying to feel more, think less. So we're going to start here though, and in this deck we will, so each of these cards basically has a shadow aspect of it. or on it, I should say. So we're going to start off by specifically asking for what your shadow aspects are at the moment that you are dealing with. We'll read the message on the card on how to kind of counteract or overcome that challenge, or just sort of get some advice on it. And then we'll continue to pull more oracle cards and advice cards and see what else we can bring through for you. So for group 1, what shadow aspects are they dealing with at the moment? Group 1. What are group 1's shadow aspects as a collective at the moment? So we've got number 34, spirit messages for you guys. And we're going to go to the book and find out what the shadow aspects are of this card and get you the message on that one. So the shadow aspect of this card here is creating complications and being over analytical. So this tells me that potentially maybe your mind is a little anxious and a little overwhelmed, and it could be doing a lot of overthinking and creating issues where there doesn't really need to be issues. So maybe you're interpreting things as complications, but really this is a creation of your mind. It's not the reality. So you're not really seeing things from like a grounded and realistic point of view. You're seeing things through, I suppose, conditioning. So if you've been conditioned in the past to kind of see certain red flags, maybe your mind's creating scenarios where you think you're seeing those red flags again, or something along those lines. But we will read the message in full to figure out some more about this and your advice in terms of this shadow aspect of self. So the beautiful hovering hummingbird is a positive animal totem. Its simplicity and seemingly effortless glide across flower gardens reminds us to take things slowly. Often believed to float between realms, hummingbirds are light bringers. Their healing hum encourages you to open your heart to receive love in your life. The hummingbird can travel large distances despite its small size and has the ability to fly backwards, reminding us that no matter where we are in life, we can always take a few steps back and try again. Be willing to step back and see things differently in order to take in the sweetness of life is all a part of the hummingbird's blessing. The hovering wings of the hummingbird move in an infinite loop, a figure-8 pattern, the symbol defined as an unending sequence. This powerful symbol represents endlessness, the infinite life of spirit. Right now you have spirit guiding you. There are many messages around you that are waiting to be acknowledged. Pay attention to specific encounters, as these special meanings will bring confirmation from the spirit realm. Know that right now you are being visited by past loved ones. They are asking you to be observant of the signs they are sending you on a daily basis. Be aware of these moments as your mind wanders to nostalgic memories from the past. You may be visited by loved ones while you are lucid dreaming. Keep a handy journal next to your sleeping space so you can record these moments immediately. Please acknowledge these signs and communication with love and gratitude, as it takes a great deal of energy for these special encounters. The beautiful hum of the hummingbird inspires magic and joy to those that witness these joyful encounters. If you witness the flight of the hummingbird, know that luck and positivity is on its way. So, something that you can affirm to yourself quickly right now is, I am ready to receive confirmation from my spiritual team now. And I'm actually just noticing that 3 and 4 make 7, and that's on page 77. So you may be seeing 777. That could be one of the signs that your past loved ones or your guides and angels are sending you, 777, as well as keep an eye out for the hummingbird, because it does say that when you see the hummingbird, it's a sign of good luck and abundance kind of coming your way. So keep an eye out for that. Interesting how the shadow aspect here, it almost didn't really, to me it didn't really tie in there, which is interesting. So what I want to say is, in terms of this shadow aspect, is to find a daily grounding ritual, whether it's like putting your feet in the earth as soon as you wake up for a couple of minutes, or something that you can do every day to ground yourself, because it can help you bring yourself to the present and stop over analyzing and overthinking. Because usually when we're doing that, we're either thinking about the past or the future, we're not in the present moment. So getting really grounded is going to help you kind of come back into the present and either stop stressing about the past or the future and creating more complications for yourself, because we do sort of attract what we're heavily thinking about. And if you're heavily thinking about things and complicating them, then you're probably going to attract complications. So that's my advice. But anyways, let's pop him up there. And the next deck that we will go to, I think, is, we'll go the Wisdom of the Oracle, and we'll pull a couple of cards from here. So how can group 1 raise their frequency at the moment, please? How can group 1 raise their frequency? So we have Milk and Honey coming out, number 51. How can group 1 raise their frequency? And we have number 13, Fork in the Road. On the bottom, we have the Orphaned card, number 5. So we might start with the Orphaned message first, actually. And start there because it's the bottom deck energy. This Orphaned card is like a message about sort of feeling like you don't belong, or feeling like you're separate from others, or struggling to connect or relate, feeling different, feeling isolated, feeling separate from others, rather than seeing yourself as a part of humanity or as a part of a community or a part of something. So you can kind of talk about someone who feels like they're struggling to find people that they really connect with and really resonate with on a deeper level, or just sort of feeling like you can't break through certain social barriers and feeling like people don't accept you for who you are, or that you're different. So this is about sort of understanding that sometimes people are just not for you, and it's not so much that they're abandoning you or not accepting you. It's more just that you're not meant to be a part of each other's lives. So if people have been leaving your life, or if you're struggling to connect with certain people, it's not really a sign that there's anything wrong with you, or that you're not doing anything right, or that you're doing things wrong. It's not a sign of that at all. It's just a sign that, these are just not people that are aligned with you, and they can't. So it's almost like you've maybe awakened spiritually, and you're struggling to connect with maybe like family members or friends who maybe aren't on that path of awakening themselves, and so you're kind of feeling like a disconnect, but everything that kind of falls away will be replaced, and you will, I suppose, attract things that are going to meet you at your frequency, like things and people that align with you. And I feel like the message with this card is that your spirit team's all around you all the time, so you don't need to feel alone. If you're feeling a little bit alone in reality, you can connect with them, They are there supporting you. They are sending you messages to remind you that you're not alone. And there will be good things coming in. Like, you will attract what's resonating with you and what's aligned with you. So I feel like you're in a bit of a transition phase with the number 5 on this card. In a bit of like a transformation period in your life where you're kind of evolving, growing. And this is almost like a fork in the road for you, where like you're leaving one sort of life behind and entering a new one where you're more yourself. And this is where, self-acceptance is really important, because unless you accept yourself, you're going to attract other people that don't accept you either. So you need to start with that self-acceptance and self-validation, and then you will attract others who also, appreciate you and validate you, because you're doing that from within yourself as well. So as we said, I do feel like this is like your fork in the road part of life at the moment, I guess we could say, and that you are in like a transition phase, or like an in-between kind of phase. But the more grounded that you can be, the more present that you can get, every day, you're going to feel a lot better, and you're going to be able to let go of that anxiety and just sort of have faith that just because you feel this way at the moment doesn't mean that that's going to last forever. Like, it's a temporary feeling, or it's a temporary phase in your life, and there will be better things to come, which is shown to us in that milk and honey, because this is all about, like, literally this card is about opportunities being born out of like authenticity. So this is about like aligning with your true self, shifting your life to match that authentic, that true self, and then attracting opportunities that are aligned with that, and people and situations and experiences in general. There's a lot of prosperity and a lot of abundance coming through down the line, and all of your needs are going to be met. So even if you're in an in-between, or like that fork in the road part where you feel like you're kind of leaving one life behind and sort of stepping right into another, even if there's a quiet period or a period of lack, there's all this prosperity that's coming, and all this balance and all this harmony coming your way. And I do feel like there's like this sort of innocent nature about this elephant. He's very playful, he's very kind of carefree, and I feel like that's what's to come for you. As you can see, like the clouds are disappearing and the rainbow's coming out, so things are clearing up. You're gaining clarity, you're seeing things through a brighter, more optimistic lens, and things will be looking up. So yeah, I feel like I can leave that part there. What shall we do next? We might get you some... Actually, I might just go and grab the Work Your Light Oracle deck. One moment. I was meant to grab it before, but I totally spaced because I felt like I would need it. So we're going to get a couple more messages about raising your frequency. So how can group 1 raise their frequency, please? Whoop, whoop. Okay, so what do we have here? So we have Keepers of the Earth. You are not alone. Ancient ancestors stand behind you. I love it when we get confirmation. I love that so much. So not only do you have your own ancestors behind you and your own sort of team of, past loved ones, angels, guides, you also have the ancient ancestors of the earth on your side. So this does tell me that there is like a bigger purpose to your existence in this life, and there is definitely a key mission for you to fulfill that has something to do with helping the earth ascend. So I feel like as you raise your own frequency, when everybody, like the key, I suppose, to making or helping the earth raise its frequency is like it starts on an individual level. So if every individual starts to look after themselves and raise their frequency, the earth's frequency naturally raises anyway. So, raising your own frequency helps the earth regardless. But I do feel like you have a way of helping others or helping the earth when it comes to your purpose. So whether it's like an environmental cause or a charitable cause or like some sort of oh my god, I'm trying to say philanthropic. It didn't want to come out. But anyway, there's some sort of like bigger picture or bigger purpose to your personal purpose that somehow helps the earth. So I can see that you've got like various animals that are around you, like spirit animals. We've got, it looks like lionesses, elephants, we've got a wolf, we've got eagle wings, we've got angel wings. There's the eagle. We've got, are they orcas or like some sort of whale or dolphin or something? We've even got a little Egyptian type headstone type thing. So like I feel like there's a lot of big energies around you really supporting your mission. So if you already have clarity on, what really matters a lot to you and you know what you're trying to do, and that's where you're at the moment, is like stepping into that new life, walking that path, then wonderful. Otherwise, this is a sign to kind of keep walking this path of self-discovery and to keep getting to know yourself on deeper levels and keep raising your frequency, because it will lead you to this mission or to this path. Very cosmically supported. This is very like, you're a very important part of the divine plan. So much so that you have a lot of unseen help in the other realms. So if you actively connect to them through your heart center, I do feel like within time you'll feel their presence, and maybe you'll even be able to communicate and channel them. So that could be something to start sort of delving into. And then we've got Pleiades, which totally makes sense because it talks about a double mission, channeling and uplifting. Oh, channeling. Sorry, got so distracted because like I think the last thing that we left this card on was channeling, and then I kind of linked me there. It was cute. Anyways, so double mission, channeling and uplifting humanity. So yeah, I definitely feel like you have a bigger purpose in this life and you're going to help humanity ascend. You're going to influence others in some way or help guide others. Or just like, maybe you're going to sort of bring others together for a shared purpose that helps the earth, because there is a connection to the earth. So it could just be that you're helping people ascend, which in turn helps the earth ascend. Or you're like bringing a group of souls together for like a charitable cause, or like an environmental cause, or some sort of cause that helps others in some way, helps others in need. Pleiades energy can really be about like big picture. So that's another bit of sort of confirmation that there is something bigger to your mission, that you are very important in this lifetime, and that you're going to be a key influence in helping the earth ascend. So it's also about creativity. So I feel like maybe a key to helping you discover something, or discover yourself, or to connect with your intuition, or to connect with all these unseen helpers, maybe is to connect to your creative side. So whether it's like painting, writing, singing, dancing, creating videos, creating music, creating workout plans, like whatever you like to create in your life, getting more creative and really indulging in that creative side is going to strengthen your intuition and really connect yourself to both your own soul, and be receptive to sort of the communication from your angels and guides and ancestors. Okay, so next we might get some sort of like, we'll get some spirit animal wisdom cards out for some like sort of self-care advice mostly. Sometimes it's a little bit different to self-care advice, but just stuff that you can do for you at the moment to raise your frequency. I've literally seen that owl come out I've seen it appear about 5 times, so I wouldn't be surprised if the owl comes out for you, but let's see. Alright, what can group 1 do to raise their frequency at the present time? What can group 1 do to raise their frequency at the present time? So we've got the ladybird, luck. And it's come out under the card that spoke about some good luck coming your way too. What can group 1 do to raise their frequency at this time? The sloth. Oh, look what's on the bottom. We're talking about the bigger picture. So I'm not really taking bottom deck, but just because it speaks about the bigger picture, and that's what we spoke about, is that something about your path is like bigger picture, or bigger, has a bigger meaning. So I thought that was interesting that it came out. All right, so as the ladybird says, all of your manifesting positive thoughts and visualizations have been heard. So there is a lot of good luck coming your way and a lot of good things. And whatever you've been actively working on, investing in, trying to create, trying to attract, it's all been heard. And there are results that are coming for you, but there seems to just be like a quiet period or a stagnated period that you're in at the moment. And I feel like it's trying to get you to be quiet, to rest, to recalibrate, reset and recharge, and just sort of go within and prepare for this next phase. So as the sloth says, recalibrate, reset and recharge. And something that could be vital to you doing this is a digital detox. Even if it's just social media, or potentially all technology, and doing a big reset for yourself, getting very grounded, very present, getting a lot of rest, being very sloth-like, being very lazy, and just recuperating to prepare for this next phase, because there is going to be a sudden shift where you're going to be propelled forward. Oh, excuse me. I'm speaking too fast, not taking enough breaths. Whew. So you're going to be propelled forward, and I feel like you're in a preparation phase. So this is not a time for you to keep pushing forward and to keep doing more. The reason it's stagnated is to get you some quiet sort of stillness to prepare you for this next phase where there's going to be a lot happening. So It actually reminds me a lot of the daily collective message that I posted on my Instagram Reels today, because we had the Hanged Man and the Nine of Pentacles, and it was just sort of speaking about taking a rest, taking a pause, and preparing yourself for what's to come. So you guys are definitely very aligned with that message. What else was I going to do? I was going to pull a couple of essential oils to see what can benefit you guys the most, so that if you work with, like if you burn oils or incense, or you use essential oils in any way, you can pick up some of whatever comes out, and that'll be very beneficial to you. But even if you don't, it kind of tells you on the card what that oil does for you, so you could just look for other ways that resonate with you on how to sort of create that energy or give that to yourself. So we'll see what comes up. So we'll get 2 for you guys, so that there's a couple of options just in case one doesn't work for you or something. Like if it doesn't agree with you, or if you have an allergy, or if you just don't like it, or you can't get a hold of it. What are the helpful oils? Okay, there we go for group 1. So we have black spruce, restores energy and builds confidence. So that is definitely, that makes a lot of sense, because you are feeling a little bit unsure, uncertain, and you're in that sort of slower period, and you do need to recalibrate, reset and recharge. So black spruce can help to restore your energy, restore your confidence, to have you feeling better about where you're going and where you're at. Can we see that if I put it there? We can, yay. And birch builds strength and courage. So this is also going to help sort of fortify your strength and courage, build your resilience, build your confidence and your sort of drive to keep going, because as we said, your mission in this lifetime is very important, and you're here to do something very good for the world. So it's all about taking care of yourself and making sure that you're prepared for when that shift comes, because it's going to require strength and courage, and you're going to need to have a lot of energy. You're going to need to be ready. You're going to need to be resilient. You're going to need to feel confident about where you're going and confident about walking that path. So they can help you do that. I think that's mostly it. The only other thing that I had planned for this reading is to finish with affirmations. So we will finish off with a few affirmations for you guys that are going to benefit you at the moment. So what affirmations can benefit group 1 right now? So the short version is I love being me. The long version is I'm at ease when I wake up in the morning. I feel the joy of spending another day with myself. Oh, that's so cute, because we did have this message of feeling alone, or feeling like you're struggling to connect with people. And so this is about sort of just like seeing spending time alone as joyful, and doing things that make you enjoy spending time alone. And if you know you're going to be alone, or you know that you're feeling a little bit isolated, it's about cultivating that joy for yourself and finding ways to make it fun. That's what's going to sort of help raise your frequency. We have I am here at the right time. The work I'm doing on myself is a lifetime process. It doesn't matter how much time it takes, because I have all the time in the world. Love that. I love how well these are resonating in with your messages. So this is definitely a case of sort of working on yourself, loving yourself, accepting yourself. Doesn't matter how much time it takes, because this journey, you have all the time in the world. And, you know, working on yourself is the key to sort of unlocking this path for yourself, and helping others and helping the earth as well. It's not being in a rush too, and it's about accepting that even though you're at a bit of a fork in the road and you're feeling a little bit flat at the moment, you're still here at the right time. And we'll get one more affirmation for group 1 that's going to help them at the moment. We got, I am willing to learn new things. I love to learn and am willing to drop old concepts when they no longer work for me. Growing and changing is exciting. Yeah, so you're definitely going to be experiencing a lot of change, a lot of new energies are going to be coming your way. It's going to be a lot of growth, a lot of evolution, and you need to be willing to sort of let go of what's not resonating and what's not working for you, and sort of be willing to move towards what is, you know, making the changes that you need to make, but then also releasing what you can't change and what doesn't work. So very, very nice messages coming through for you guys today. So yeah, I think I will go through to an extended actually. And what we might do is, if you're after a little bit of extra peace of mind about where you're going, we're going to look a little bit ahead into the future. We're going to look into sort of, this Milk and Honey card spoke a little bit about prosperity and abundance and good luck coming your way. So we might find out what those good things are that are coming. And we might try and find a little bit more out. So we'll see what the good things are that are coming, and we'll kind of maybe look at where you're going to be at in 3 months' time to see kind of how you're traveling. So if you're interested in that, you can check out the link below in the description box, and I'll see you over there for an extended reading. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you resonated with this video. It would mean a lot. And of course, subscribing means that you can be aware of all my future uploads as well, because I do try to post at least 2 to 3 times a week. But even if this is where I leave you and I don't see you in the extended, I'm so thankful that you've been here and that you have watched this video. I hope that it's been helpful for you. Take care, guys. Stay safe, and I hope to see you in another video soon. Bye. Hi Group 2, welcome to your reading. Today we're going to be finding out how you can raise your frequency. Just a quick note, I may receive a call during this video, and it's an important one, so if it does come while I'm filming, I do have to answer it, and you may notice a little like, I guess, edited bit or something in it, and that will be why. But yeah, just thought I'd give you a heads up about that. So if you're here for Group 2, you have picked the, I think this is called the Rainbow Flame Aura Quartz, and it's a geode. Trying to show you all the colours, but the light's kind of coming in the wrong way. But yeah, you guys chose this one if you're here. So we'll put our friend over here, and we'll get into your messages for today. So I did decide with Group 1 that we will make it into an extended reading. So there will be an extended, and we'll talk about what we're going to discuss in the extended at the end of your message. But the way that we're going to start is we're going to pull a card from here. And each of these cards have shadow aspects, and we're going to find out what shadow aspects you're dealing with at the moment. And we'll read the message from the book, hopefully for some advice on how to kind of counter those shadow aspects or heal them. Although, to be quite honest, Group 1's, I guess the message in the book kind of didn't really give advice to what the shadow aspects were. So in that case, I gave advice instead, like intuitive advice. So we'll do that if we have to. But yeah, we'll see. So this is for Group 2 now. What are Group 2's shadow aspects at present? What shadow aspects are they dealing with or noticing? Or even don't have to be noticing them. Maybe they're subconscious. Maybe you're not aware of them. But what are Group 2's shadow aspects at present? What are Group 2's shadow aspects at present? Well, that's interesting because group one got a number 7 card, not this card, but you know, their numbers equaled 7, and your group equals 7 as well. 1 and 6 is 7. So you do have the card of expansion, and it says educate your mind and senses. And we'll go into the book and we will talk about this card. So the shadow aspect: restriction, illiteracy, discouraging. Restriction, illiteracy, discouraging. Illiteracy. Geez, that's harsh. Like, okay, I'm just going to point out that I'm not calling anybody here illiterate. Surely there's a different way of interpreting this. Potentially, maybe the way that you're communicating could be a little bit discouraging, or like you're not expressing yourself in the most ideal of ways. Like maybe there's, speaking of restriction, maybe there's a restriction in how you're expressing yourself, or a restriction in how literate you're being and how well you're explaining yourself and getting your point across. Maybe it's coming across as you're being discouraging or harsh, or something along those lines. But then also I'm feeling like maybe illiteracy in terms of perhaps you're not fueling your brain enough at the moment, and by kind of learning more and taking in more information and learning more things about what you like will kind of help your mind expand and help give you a focus, rather than focusing on anything negative or anything not serving you. Your mind will be focused on things that are expanding your mind and your senses, like that card says. So we will read the message. Expansion is an inevitable process of the universe. The knowledge of history, sciences, mathematics, and social understanding continue to grow through the foundation of new knowledge, awareness, and experience. Human beings and human consciousness also continue to evolve and expand. It's part of the evolutionary process. Clinging to old and past experiences restricts a person's ability to grow. Expanding yourself spiritually and emotionally allows you to feel a greater sense of love, compassion, and harmony. Self-realization follows these new levels of awareness as you build upon your previous knowledge and life experiences. Realize that you are always in a permanent state of learning about yourself physically and emotionally. How you interact with others and what you like or dislike are all experiences that create expansion within your spirit. More importantly, it's never too late to learn. You may have just left behind an old life, previously gone through separation or divorce, began a new job or career path, or started a family. It might seem confronting now, but don't be afraid to ask for help about these matters or advice. Support is available to you, just ask. Right now, you're in a process of learning. Career goals, education, and skills-based training are a focus now. This new information is needed for the next step of your life. You may be feeling that you aren't up to the task ahead. Don't fear. Everything you need will be available to you in divine timing. It may feel like you're on the edge of not knowing what to do next. All that means is that this is a new experience and you require more information for the journey ahead. Research your area of focus. A new level of study or education will benefit you now as you prepare and organize your future. An affirmation that you can quickly say to yourself right now is, my mind is open. I learn new information easily. So that's your message. So it does seem like there is something that you can learn or study or get more information on to prepare you for the next phase of your journey, but also just to, I guess, focus on things that are encouraging expansion and growth, rather than focusing on things that are either keeping you stuck, not serving you, not good for you, or anything negative or anything toxic or anything, that's not expanding your mind in some way, or your soul or your senses, etc., etc. So that's your first message. The next thing that we're going to go to, the next deck we're going to go to is the Wisdom of the Oracle, and we're going to get some more information on how you can expand. Oh gosh, I've got to do one more now to make it finish on a high note. Oh no! There we go. Okay. Oh, sometimes I have these little OCD things and I can't help myself. Okay, so how can group 2 raise their frequency at the present time, please? How can group 2 raise their frequency? You are kidding. I was literally just thinking to myself that there's a lot of similarities already between group 1 and 2, and you've got out one of their cards now. So I don't know if some of you were drawn to both groups, but very similar pieces. I wouldn't say similar readings, but similar pieces. So there could definitely be messages in group 1 for you if you felt inclined, or if you kind of thought for a moment to yourself like, oh, is it maybe group 1? Then I would suggest maybe checking that out. But we'll see where your reading goes. How can group 2 raise their frequency at the present time? And because we also had both of your, what are they called? Sacred Spirit reading cards. Both of them were number 7s when you reduced them. And number 4, higher power. Underneath the deck, we have number 40, co-create. So you got 444. 1 and 3 is 4, literally 4, 4 and 0 is 4. So 444. So emphasis on your foundation, your stability, that type of energy. That's what I associate 4s with, is like, stability, foundation, getting into a really stable, sound position, I guess. So we'll start with the bottom deck energy, because what's left on the bottom is sometimes what I like to talk about first. Not all the time, but today we are. So co-create is a card of basically remembering that you are a creative being, and even if you don't necessarily feel like you're a creative person, there's this sense of needing to acknowledging that whether you realize it or not, you're constantly creating your reality. So I guess you could consider this about taking a more active part in creating your reality by, again, starting with your mind, and by focusing on, I guess, expansion and things that are fueling your mind rather than draining it or tiring it, you can create a much better future for yourself. I feel like whether you feel like you're a creative being or not, there is a sense that connecting to your creative side can benefit you at the present time and help you raise your frequency. Like, that's just like a side note. But generally, I feel like, every day your thoughts, your feelings, your beliefs, your intentions, your actions, you're constantly creating your future or your tomorrow, right? So this is about being conscious of that. And then when we move to sort of the fork in the road, it does kind of insinuate that you're leaving something behind, or you've reached the end of a certain journey and now it's about deciding where to go next. Sometimes it can mean that could be something that you need to change or let go of in order to take this path. So just consider that, and if there is anything that you feel like you do need to change, then feel free to do that. But yeah, it's like you're coming up to a very necessary choice in your life, and it's important to be as informed and have as much information as you can to make that decision. Yeah, I think that's all I'm getting from there. So then moving on to higher power. So this is really sort of about committing to a path, committing to your spiritual path and committing to spirit, committing to the divine. So you could definitely be, that could be where the similarity lies between you and group one, is that you guys are choosing to walk a different path, choosing to walk a spiritual path and create a different future. It might not necessarily be the path that's most travelled, or it's not really a path that's been walked before, but by sort of channeling source energy and trusting source, having faith in source, you can, I guess, really make things happen for yourself. I just feel like you're really sort of, walking a spiritual path and connecting with the higher power within you as well as around you. And choosing yourself, choosing your soul, choosing your evolution, choosing your expansion. Like, it seems like you're really choosing to create the life that you want to create at the end of the day. So in terms of how you can, I guess, raise your frequency, is to consider anything that you might need to let go of that's maybe hindering your progress or slowing you down or just not serving you in general. Anything that might be affecting your stability or your security, let that go. Learn, take in lots of new information, learn about the things that pique your interest, learn about things that are going to further your growth and the spiritual journey that you are on. It seems like you are creating something material out of a spiritual gift or out of a spiritual path. So it's like combining the material world and the spiritual world to, I guess, sustain a living as well as follow your purpose. So it's like merging those two worlds together. Actually, that could be another message about fork in the road, is like maybe you feel like you need to do one or the other. You either need to work on the career or follow your spirituality, but you can merge the two and you can create revenue out of your spiritual path or out of your spiritual gifts. They don't need to be kept separate. They can come together and form a very stable foundation. And maybe that's what you're doing, is merging the two and creating a life that fulfills you and sustains you in a physical or material way. So what you're already doing is already going to raise your frequency, but I guess Spirit's telling you that there is some more that you can learn. Maybe you need to focus more on things that are going to help you expand and grow rather than distractions or getting caught up in the real world or the other world outside of yourself. Yeah, so that's what I'm getting there so far. I will move on. Now, which deck did I use next? I think we did the Work Your Light Oracle. How can group 2 raise their frequency at present? I'm being drawn back to this card, and I'm hearing that another way, that you can raise your frequency is by connecting to that higher power, connecting to God, connecting to Source, and I guess working on that connection. So like, well, I feel like I can take something from that too, because I'm sort of they're giving me as an example. So someone like me is constantly channeling a higher power and channeling the divine and getting messages through for other people. But then I actually just realized that I tend to not really connect to the higher power for my own self, or just to connect for the sake of connecting. I probably don't do that enough. So that could be what it's kind of referring to, is like connecting with that higher power and letting source energy into your own being to heal yourself and to fill any voids within yourself, and not just to help others, to also help yourself. How can group 2 raise their frequency at the present time? Okay, is that 2? It sure is. Oh, so we'll just look at the bottom. Okay, so we have break the chain on the bottom. So ancestral patterns, healing, rewriting the future. So there could be like a pattern that's kind of been going through generations of your family over a long period of time, and you're here in this life to break that chain and heal all those who walked before you and rewrite that future. So there could be something here that you're doing differently in this lifetime that others before you never did, and you're changing the course, you're changing the future, you're healing everyone else that's walked before you because this is not something that anyone in your family has done before. And your past loved ones and your angels and guides would be around you, just giving you a massive hug for doing that work. Speaking of, we have the Council of Light, Divine Orchestration, Helpers in the Subtle Realms. So first of all, I feel like that's confirmation that your ancestors are around you, like I said, giving you massive hugs for doing the work that no one's been able to do before you. But then the Council of Light, here we have various different representations of different, beings of worship, I suppose you could call them. To be quite honest, I wouldn't be able to name them all, but it does look like we have like Buddha, Jesus, and various other cultural representations of different kind of gods and ascended masters. So I feel like you actually have ascended masters and other, ascended beings around you, helping you and sending you information and guiding you and sending you light and protecting you as well. Because I do feel like your path is a very meaningful one. I feel like you're going to really help a lot of people, and that you have a big purpose in this life. So much so that, you do have a very deep connection to the ascended beings. So potentially you could tune more into this, and maybe there's one specific, I'm hearing deity, is it deity or deity or God or ascended master that you're specifically connected with that seems to be really helping you. So you could try to seek further clarification on that as part of your own journey, And then also it's drawing me back to that higher power and connecting to your higher power. So, you know, whoever you worship or praise or pray to or believe in, it's about connecting with that entity for your own benefit and to guide you on your path, as well as helping others. We have align your life. What is not aligned or needs to change? Okay, so there's definitely something that you guys need to change or remove essentially from your life, you know, like chop out. And I was picking up on a subtle energy in the fork in the road, because that card can sometimes mean leaving certain things behind for the next part of your journey. And it does seem like this is reiterating the fact that there is something that's not aligned with you that you're holding on to for some reason, and it needs to be severed. So there's something that needs to go for you guys. So I guess just do some reflection and be very open and honest with yourself. Be willing to hold yourself accountable and try to see what that is, and cut that out of your life because it's not aligned and it needs to change or go. So the next thing we're going to do is get some, this is just like, it's almost like more, I guess, practical. Well, some of it is, some of it isn't. Like a lot of it can be about like self-care, or other little practical things you can do to raise your frequency, or just general advice to help you raise your frequency. So we'll go into here and we'll ask again, how can group 2 raise their frequency at the present time? So you guys have the Chameleon, Soul Tribe, it is safe to be seen. I love how this has come out underneath Fork in the Road, because we spoke about walking a different path, and this card is all about not blending in or conforming to meet those around you. It's about being confident in being unique and walking that different path, you know, standing out or being different. You are different. We're all different. We're all unique beings. We're all different. But it's about being okay with that, and, you know, accepting yourself and being okay to reveal that self to other people and be seen, not dimming your light to blend in, but letting it shine and owning your uniqueness. So stop trying to blend in, get more comfortable with being seen. When you are being seen and when you are being authentic and accepting yourself, you align with that soul tribe. You align with the people who resonate with your authenticity and who align with it and who are equally as authentic and know themselves just as well. And those are definitely the kind of people that you want to have around you. And those that don't accept you for who you are, they're just not meant to be in your life. So there could be someone that maybe you need to let go of, speaking of. We have the Koi Cup, abundance. Move with the flow of abundance around and through you. So this could be, the first thing I'm thinking about is how a fish swims through the water. And I'm feeling like something that you guys can do is work on moving your body. So whether that's putting some music on and finding a flow to move with the music, or whether it's like stretching and working on your flexibility and your mobility and getting into more of like a physical flow, or maybe it's tuning into abundance and really imagining it, feeling it, cultivating a sense of abundance to manifest more of that in your life. And also like just sort of, I guess, being being grateful for the abundance that you already have, and just getting comfortable with receiving and flowing. And I don't know, because I feel like you're about to receive a lot. And if you're not ready to move with that flow of abundance that you're going to start receiving, you might resist it rather than receive it. So that was a kind of random message, but obviously it was important. Okay, so the next thing we're going to look at is something tangible or physical that can help raise your frequency in the form of an essential oil. So if you do use essential oils or scents, then this can be something that can help you. But even if you don't work with oils and scents, it tells you what that oil would spiritually do for you or energetically do for you, and you can find other ways to cultivate that energy that resonate with you. So they can be helpful whether you use oils or not. So let's find out what can benefit group 2 in terms of raising their frequency the most at the present time. We're not taking that many. We just want 2 options, 2 of the best options. What are the best options to help group 2 raise their frequency? Yeah, I thought I would give 2 because then if you either like can't get your hands on one, or if you have an allergy or a dislike for one that comes out, then we have a backup option as well. So the first one out is cassia, I'm not quite sure how that would be said, and that says provides courage and strength. So looking for ways to increase your feelings of courage and strength if you don't use essential oils. And rosemary enhances memory and confidence. So similarly, like courage, strength and confidence kind of go hand in hand, but then also memory. And interestingly enough, memories giving me the impression of remembering who you are, remembering your spiritual nature, maybe even remembering past lives, or just kind of awakening to the fact, you know, that you're a spiritual being having a human experience. But there's something about sort of that awakening your memory of, like who you really are. But also it may just help your day-to-day memory if you're someone that struggles in that department. So to finish off this section of the reading, we are going to get you some helpful affirmations that can help raise your frequency. So what affirmations can help group 2 raise their frequency at the present time? So the short version is, I am always perfectly protected. We did get that. When a fearful thought comes up, I recognize that it is trying to protect me. I thank it and let it go with love. So that could be something that you need to get rid of, is this fearful thinking. That could be what needs to change, and that could be a way to change it, is to change your view of it and recognize that the fearful thought is just looking out for you and saying thank you, but that's not helping me, letting it go with love. I allow others to be themselves. I love others by allowing them to be who they are. By learning to accept myself, I am also learning how to accept others. So there could be maybe like, if there's any parts of other people that you struggle to deal with or accept, potentially, I don't want to trigger anybody or come across wrong, but potentially maybe it's reflecting back at something that you're not accepting about yourself, or something that you're ashamed about or resentful about within yourself. So maybe try to use that as a mirror and see what it's trying to reflect back at you, because potentially it's coming from a place of not accepting yourself, and therefore you're struggling to accept or allow that other person to be who they are, something along those lines. But yeah, also that's just going to reiterate the fact that the more you accept yourself, the more you accept others. And then the last one for you guys is I am a loving, joyful person. I release all thoughts and vibrations of confusion, chaos, disharmony, disrespect, or distrust. They are eliminated from my consciousness completely. So that's obviously one of the things that aren't aligning with you anymore, is this confusion, the chaos, the disharmony, the disrespect, or the distrust. And this is an affirmation that can help you let all of that go, and I guess rewrite your thinking and your patterns. So that's the end of part 1. Now let's see what we can do in the extended with this one. We're going to see where this fork in the road is taking you and see kind of where you're going. So we might, similar to group 1, we might look ahead at where you're going. We're going to look, I felt like there was something coming with you, and you need to be flowing in that receptive energy in order to welcome it in. So I'm going to find out what abundance is on the way. So abundance on the way, the future, and we'll kind of see how it plays out, because we will end up going, I think group 1's extended went for roughly 25-30 minutes, maybe 30 I think. So it'll be about 30 minutes long, and we'll kind of see where it takes us from there to how we can kind of pinpoint more. So if you want to see what abundance and what blessings are coming in for you, if you want to find out where this fork in the road is taking you, and if you also want to find out a little bit about your purpose and your spiritual path, we'll also pull a few cards on that. So if I see you over in the extended, that's fantastic. I look forward to it. But either way, I'm so grateful that you've been here and you've watched part 1 of the message. I really hope to connect with you again soon. But for now, take care. Bye. Hello, group 3. Welcome to your reading on how you can raise your frequency at the present time. So you guys are the eggs. You've got the Celestite egg. And we'll get into your messages today. I don't know why I just got so quiet. Got very, very quiet there for a second. So what we're going to be doing today is getting through a lot of advice about how you can raise your frequency at the moment. And how we're going to start this off is with one of these cards, because each of these cards have shadow aspects, and we want to find out what shadow aspects you could be dealing with at the moment. And we're also going to read the message from this book for the card that comes out, because it should give us some advice on how you can raise your frequency. So for group 3, please, what shadow aspects are they currently dealing with, whether consciously or subconsciously? Holy, get out of town. Every single group had a number 7 card come out for their very first card. So group 1 had, I think it was 34, which reduces to 7. And group 2 had, I think, number 25. Or was it 16? might have been 16 actually. 25 might have been another card. And then you guys have actually got the 7. So that is just mind blown. But anyway, while I get over myself, or get over what just happened, not really get over myself, let's have a look here. So the shadow aspect that you may be dealing with at the moment, whether you realize it or not, is that you could be being a little bit dismissive, disrespectful, or procrastinating. So these are the shadow aspects of this card and what you might be noticing about yourself, or maybe you haven't noticed it until right now, and then maybe if you go do some reflection, maybe you might be like, okay, maybe I do kind of see why that's coming up. But yeah, let's read the message and see what the advice is here. So, Celestial Gatekeeper. The eagle is considered a sacred animal in many cultures. Unafraid of confrontation, the resilience and unshakable confidence and courage that eagles demonstrate ensure their presence is felt. Their commanding and majestic presence, soaring high above the land below, demands your respect when you reside or walk within it. Flying in between the realms of earth and spirit, these majestic animals are celestial gatekeepers, transporting spiritual communication between the heavenly gateways. Eagles have always been closely associated with God or a spiritual higher power. The Aztecs, Sumerians, Romans, Egyptians, and Native Americans all viewed the eagle as a sacred bird that empowered the people below them. Many ancient and modern cultures adopt the eagle as their spiritual icon. The freedom and wisdom these majestic birds represent are inspiring. These predatory birds rely on their vision and ability to read wind currents to survive in their natural habitats. The sacred relationship between the Mongols and the golden eagle signify the power and respect these beautiful eagles represent and are considered more valuable than human relationships as they depend on them for their own survival in the Siberian wilderness. Right now, you require a clear focus of what's ahead of you. Your timing is critical. While you may have a sense of urgency, it's also important not to rush. Think about the issue or circumstances carefully before you act. Ensure you have planned all your forward process. All decision making needs to be carefully considered before you jump in prematurely. Make sure you have all the facts in front of you. Eagles are as deeply connected to the celestial realm as are you. Be aware of the eagle's subtle messages as they are encouraging you to raise and elevate your vibration to build a divine relationship, a celestial pathway with a higher source. Pay attention to dense or lower energy so you can learn how this interaction affects your personal energy. So funny, this reading is literally about raising your frequency, and they talk about elevating your vibration, which is the same thing. So you're being encouraged to build a divine relationship or a celestial pathway with a higher source. So, God or the creator, source, the divine, whatever sort of higher power you believe in, or whatever god, goddess, deity, entity, whatever you believe in, it's about building more of a connection with that source. That's going to help you raise your frequency. And then also we got a lot of advice about something being ahead of you. So we'll also be sort of getting some more info. But that's that card. Excuse me while I give a massive yawn. Alright, so the next cards I got were Wisdom of the Oracle, correct. Alright, so how can group 3 raise their frequency at present? How can group 3... Oh, 2 flipped over. So we had number 28, building blocks. Number 31, why? And on the bottom of the deck, we have number 10, unfinished symphony. So we'll start with unfinished symphony here. Now, I can see a very clear message coming in with these 3 cards, which I might just dive straight into. So basically, unfinished symphony can talk about not learning lessons, not closing cycles, not becoming aware of patterns that we're repeating, and kind of letting things repeat and play out instead of bringing them to a completion. And then building blocks is about, your core beliefs, values, feelings and thoughts being the building blocks of what you're creating. So if you're not closing out lessons, not wrapping up cycles, you're repeating the same things, you're going to be getting a lot of the same results and creating a lot of the same results. And then looking back on like why that continues to happen, like why do you keep going around in circles and coming up with the same outcomes all the time? It's because you're not doing anything differently. You're repeating the same lessons. You're not learning what you need to learn from them, and then you're repeating the same cycle. So it seems as though you really need to become aware of these patterns in your life that seem to be repeating, and you need to figure out what you need to learn from them and what you need to do differently to get a different outcome or to get a different result next time. Because once you like graduate and master that lesson and you close out that cycle, what you can then build from the ground up comes or starts on a much more solid foundation and comes with a lot more consistent, steady growth. So it seems like if you're looking for the answers why, it's because you're doing things the same way or you're not learning your lesson. And there's something that you need to end or complete or close out for good in order to get a different result, and to build something a lot more stable or a lot more solid. Just seeing if there's anything else that I can see in there. Yeah, I think it's just really important to really look at like your motives and your intentions and your beliefs and your values, and like consider where you're acting from when you're trying to build things, whether it's relationships, projects, whatever it is that you're trying to build. I think that you need to really reflect clearly on what's driving you, because what's driving you is going to determine the outcome. And I feel like, if you're trying to build something and it's coming from a place of like fear, it's not going to be very stable. Or I don't know how else to really describe that, but there's definitely something that you can learn about yourself and change in order to rewrite or create a better future for yourself, one that's more stable, one that can progress more steadily, more consistently, and one where you can leave these patterns or these cycles in the past. So there's basically a pattern that you need to change about yourself. And it connects to, there's like something underneath that you need to understand, and it seems to be like to do with what's motivating you or what's driving you. That's the only way that I can really describe it. So we'll keep going and we'll kind of see what else we can pull out. Where are the rest of those cards? Under there. All right, so for group 3, how can group get in there. How can group 3 raise their frequency at present? I feel like understanding why you behave a certain way or do these certain things or get caught in these patterns is the secret to undoing them and like creating a more stable or different outcome in the future. How can group 3 raise their frequency, please? How can group 3 raise their frequency? Okay, that's too much. So we have transformation, things are changing at a cellular level, deep healing. And Council of Light, divine orchestration, helpers in the subtle realms. We'll glance at what's on the bottom, but we're not going to keep it out. Sisterhood of the Rose, beauty and devotion, priestess, mystic, teacher. So this is just, we'll just touch on it. It's sort of just about connecting to your inner god or goddess, your inner priest or priestess, figuring out what you're willing to devote yourself to and then connecting with it, connecting with your mystical, spiritual side, connecting with your feminine energy. It's very much a feminine type of energy card. So whether you're male or female, connecting with your feminine energy, that's going to help you raise your frequency at the moment. So with this card here, how can you raise your frequency? I feel like when I'm looking at things are changing at a cellular level, deep healing, it's making me think of potentially something that you can do to raise your frequency would be to start at a cellular level. So like start nourishing your body really well, like eating a very alkaline diet, maybe trying to go meat free for a little while or doing some type of like detox or some sort of like even like a juice cleanse or some sort of cleanse where you're starting all the way at cell level. So what you eat is, that saying, you are what you eat. Everything that you're eating is going to basically go into your body, and that's what's going to decide how healthy your cells are. So this is about like treating yourself at a cellular level by starting with like the right foods, drinking a lot of water. That's what that is telling me. That's about all I can pull from that in terms of like raising your frequency. I do feel like things are already happening for you and there's natural healing occurring for you already, but in terms of something that you can do to raise your frequency, that's what I'm picking up from there, is like starting within you at cellular level in terms of starting with what you eat and working your way out from there. Or what you consume in general. I shouldn't just say what you eat, because that would even mean like if you indulge a lot in unhealthy substances and things like that, it could be like wiping that out as well. But so looking after your body at cellular level is the key to raising your frequency. And obviously deep healing can refer to healing those patterns or cycles that you're stuck in. And then Council of Light, divine orchestration, helpers in the subtle realms. This would be saying that there are beings in the unseen realms who are there to support you and guide you, and you can raise your frequency by setting the intention more often to connect with them, feel them, open up to their love and light, and just be receptive to their guidance, their help, their presence. That can help you raise your frequency as well. Okay, so next things are, we're going to get you some sort of, I like to call these sort of self-care advice, but they're not all self-care. Some of them are a little bit more different. But we will get a couple of things from here in terms of what you can do to raise your frequency as well. So what can group 3 do to raise their frequency at the present time? Sorry, I've got an itch on my face. Okay, so we'll take the one that came out by itself. We've got sea turtle, conservation, make conscious choices. So that's definitely bringing awareness to these patterns and starting to make a different choice, starting to be conscious of where you're about to make the same mistakes and deciding to do something differently, changing course, trying to rewrite your future and take a different direction. Sorry, excuse me. That card can also be about looking after the environment. It always makes me think of making conscious choices to conserve the planet, but also making conscious choices to conserve yourself as well. So just, making really good conscious choices, no matter how big or small they are. You know, starting small is the secret to bringing that consciousness in all the time. So the next is polar bear, nurture. Allow any anxieties and worries to be gently released and offered up to be healed. I also see nurture as nurturing the self, and which also makes me think of nourishing the self. So again, looking after your physical body by watching what you eat and what you consume. But also, you know, if you are worried and you are anxious, it's about being kind to yourself, nurturing yourself like you would if it was your own child that was feeling anxious or worried. Like, just being kind and supportive to yourself and nurturing yourself through it. Sitting with your feelings, but then not holding on to them, like letting them go. Next is, I feel like we're powering through your guys' one, but next is where's my oils, my essential oils cards under there. Gosh, I've used so many decks for these readings. Like once I do the extended as well, there's so many different decks that they're like all out, and it's hard to like differentiate between each deck. So whether you work with essential oils or not, these can be helpful either way, because even if you don't work with oils, it tells you kind of what that herb or what that oil helps with, or what it promotes, or what it does to your energy. So you can find a way that resonates with you to cultivate those energies. Or if you do work with oils, then you can go and pick some up and work with it to soak in those benefits. And today I'm giving 2 options, so that if like you can't get your hands on one, there's a backup, or if your skin doesn't agree with one, there's a backup, or if you just don't like it, we do 2 options. So what can help group 3 raise their frequency in this deck? What essential oils can help group 3 raise their frequency, please? So the first one is Siberian fir, and it says relieves and revitalizes. So your energy on some level needs relieving and revitalizing. What can help group 3 raise their frequency? And we have birch, builds strength and courage. So you also need to promote a sense of strength and courage within you as well, possibly to break these patterns and, you know, essentially change some of your ways. All right, so the last part of part 1, there will be an extended, which we'll talk about in a moment. But the last part is we're going to pull through 3 affirmations that you can use at present to help raise your frequency. So group 3, what affirmations can help group 3 raise their frequency at the present time? My apologies, group 3. Okay, so short version, I treat myself with unconditional love. I am a precious being loved by the universe. As I increase the love I have for myself, so too does the universe. So you're being asked, so you can repeat this over time and say it to yourself as well, but you are being asked to view yourself differently, to learn to love yourself and accept yourself. The universe always loves you, but what this card is kind of saying is that the more that you love yourself, the more that the universe can send people and experiences that promote more of that love, or that love you in return. What affirmations can raise group 3's frequency at the moment? I am willing to change. Love that, because this is all about making changes. When one door closes, another opens. It's only change. I'm safe and secure and loved. Love that. And one more for group 3, please. What affirmation can help raise their frequency? It is safe to look within for my peace of mind. I do whatever I need to do to keep my inner world peaceful. My inner peace is essential for my health and my well-being. So yeah, you guys definitely need to cultivate some inner peace and really work on changing the things that prevent you from experiencing that inner peace, including, you know, more physical things like diet, exercise, rest, as well as, you know, that spiritual side of things, and changing your patterns and behaviors and changing your ways, doing things differently, becoming aware of where you're holding yourself back or causing instability, and I guess overcoming certain things and closing out certain chapters in order to rewrite a brand new one. That's a lot more fulfilling and a lot more joyful, and a lot more peaceful for yourself. All right, so let's see. For the extended, we might structure it the same as the first couple of groups. So we'll start by, so we might look at, you know, the blessings that will be attracted if you can change your patterns. So we'll first of all look at what blessings you'll attract by changing, your patterns. Then we will look at we'll just do the same thing. So we'll look at your love and relationships in 3 months and 6 months. We'll look at your career, work life in 3 months and 6 months, and we'll look at your inner world in 3 months and 6 months, and do like a check-in of where you're going to be at then, you know, if you implement this advice. And then at the end, we'll also finish off with a little bit of advice to help you in terms of your soul purpose. So whether you know what your purpose is in this lifetime or not, it's intended to just be helpful information for you to reflect upon and consider to help you on your journey. So that's what we're going to dive into the extended. But whether or not I see you there, thank you very much for being here. Thank you so much for watching this video and joining me on this experience in order to learn how to raise your frequency It means a lot to me that you've watched. Don't forget to like and subscribe for future uploads. That would also mean a lot to me. And then you can also be aware of when I do post. I try to post 2 to 3 times a week. But yeah, this is where I leave you for now. If I see you in the extended, then great. But if not, take care, stay safe, and I hope to see you again soon.